Okay, people, I, as promised, have lined up to chat with my friend Nancy. She is the one who came into my program and she was like, Chanel, I don't even cook, so I don't know how this is going to work. And I want you to hear her story because I have learned a lot from her working with her and really understanding where some of these challenges can arise, like confidence and even backing yourself to try a recipe, because I see that there's a lot more than just cooking that is involved in this conversation. So I am so excited you're here, Nancy.
Thank
Maybe
you.
you can, I'm just going to throw it to you, and maybe you can share from your side what it was like. Because I just remember that first conversation, you're like, no, I just don't even like to cook. Like, how's this going to work? So maybe you can enlighten us, and we'll probably bounce back and forward like with this conversation. How's that sound?
Sure. So, uh, everything that I've always done in programs, like the hardest part for me has always been cooking. I just have never enjoyed being in the kitchen. And for me, it's just easier to pick things up on the fly than to really plan it. So I would say, number one, Chanel does all the work for you because you have the recipes, right? So that takes the guessing game out. So you go through her recipes for the week, and even if you're just starting out, pick like a few of your favorites. You don't need to get overwhelmed by the huge grocery list and every single recipe. Go through the week and just star or highlight the ones that you're going to focus on. And if you're just starting out, do like one, two, or three for the week. That's all you need to do. One, even if you do one morning and one evening. So that's what I tried to do. In the beginning, I tried to buy everything on the grocery list, and I tried to do all the recipes. And I realized, like, for me, I wasn't going to go from 0 to 60. So I picked that. And also, there were a lot of unfamiliar ingredients to me that Chanel would put on, but I was willing to try. So in the beginning, I did buy like all the pastes and like a lot of the, Asian cooking that I'd never tried before. So, in the beginning, I bought it all. I wanted to try it. And if, just open up my palate a little bit, just because I was so bored with my eating habits too. My husband's a meat and potato guy. So, and he's allergic to everything under the sun. So I still needed to make his stuff, but I would just make his stuff plain, and I would kind of do whatever Chanel had given us for the recipes. So she opened up my eyes to all different types of spices and eating, and, which has been a lot of fun. Um, so that would be my first advice. Like, you can't get overwhelmed by all the recipes. And I think also, like, the way you kind of plan out the menu when you first start is that you do repeat things. So it's kind of, you don't have to make a million meals per week. Like, that's a good thing. And you can also supplement it with other stuff. So that was the other thing too, because I go out to eat a lot and I didn't want to waste food. And now I'm not, because I make the recipes that I'm going to make, and I have the time to go out and eat and do things like that. The other thing too is that tracking your food is really important. So because of Chanel's recipes, I can track my food easily because she puts all the ingredients and what the fat, protein, and calorie count is. So that really helped too. So if I was going out for dinner, then I could work backwards to the breakfasts or the lunches and see how many calories I wanted to eat for the rest of the day. So, I was able to kind of form a plan based on your recipes. And again, like, everything was so delicious and so easy. You just make it simple. Like, I don't have to have fresh fish all the time. I can go to something like a Trader Joe's we have here and get, portions that are frozen. So I
Yes.
think I think what I learned, the most important thing is that you need to have things in your freezer and you need to have things in your refrigerator so that you're prepared. And I just never wanted to do that or felt like doing that, because everything would go bad because I would just decide I wasn't going to cook it.
Do you also think that um, I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear my chickens in the background. I think they're trying to talk to you. As soon as you started talking, they all like they've all gone crazy outside.
So funny.
They're having a conversation with you. So do you think also that, because I have heard like kind of heard a couple of experiences where in the past, I think as mums, we're cooking for the family. And so then you'll go and find like a recipe and you go, oh, that looks great. And then you go and cook it and you serve it up to the family and then it tastes terrible. And then you get kind of like, everyone's going, this is awful. Like, and then you're eating it and you're like, oh, I don't even like it. And then that kind of kills your confidence to actually even want to try. And you get to a point where you're like, I just can't be bothered because everyone's like giving me a hard time and I don't even like it, and what's just spent like all this time making it. So do you think that any of that kind of played in, like once you started trying that? Because I remember you saying to me, oh, but this is delicious, like, and so now I'm so much more motivated to prepare my food because I
Right.
really am enjoying it.
So I think also, like, again, even though my husband is a plain eater, like I've gotten him to have some of the meals, which is great. Like even doing the bonsai pasta, the fiber pasta and things like that. Like I would never eat pasta. I'm just not a pasta person.
Yeah.
So that fills him up too. And it's nice because it has fiber in it. So things like that I wouldn't have made at home. So he started eating more healthy, obviously, because I was eating more healthy. And then now that I'm an empty nester, so I didn't really have to cook for my kids. But now that my son is home, I can make one of your 4-portion meals. And he's an athlete, so he can eat 2 portions. And my husband and I each have a portion, and he's enjoying the meals as well. And he also likes to cook. So he'll get in the kitchen and make it with me, which is fun.
How nice. So you never really did that before?
No.
That's so nice. That's a new habit that you guys have like created together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, we had like a taco night, that was like the extent, we had one make your own pizza night and one taco night. And my
yeah,
kids grew up eating crappy meals. Like, they were pasta and mac and cheese and chicken. I mean, healthy chicken nuggets, but that's how they grew up. Now they're very healthy eaters.
yeah.
So yeah,
Well, and what have they said? Like they must have noticed this transformation in you.
they can't believe it. They're like, Mom, we move out of the house and now you're cooking. And I said, well, it's a lot easier to cook for 2 than it is to cook for 4. So yeah, they can't believe that I'm actually cooking meals
Yeah,
because they
that's
didn't, they really, I mean, I thank God I didn't do a disservice to them because they do love to cook and they do, but they had to fend for themselves probably. That's why.
so that's so cool because I do remember you messaging me saying, I made the breakfast and it tastes amazing. I'm going to make some more right now.
I love the breakfast and like the Weetabix, smashing it on the bottom. Because again, like I've always, for my personal consumption, just not been a carb person per se, like breads and things like that. And so even the Weetabix makes everything so tasty. I also love making things with why can't I think of what the gum is? The xanthan
Oh,
gum,
yeah, xanthan gum, yeah.
like making protein ice cream,
Yeah.
and just having like that thickness of putting the xanthan gum in something. And, I mean, I haven't gone out and bought the Ninja Creamy, which by the way, Chanel, you turned me onto that. Now it's like the hugest thing here.
Mm,
It's like
yeah,
become crazy here.
yeah,
I didn't get one, but because I just blended up in my blender with the xanthan gum and I put it in the freezer.
yeah, for sure. So
So
what advice would you get? Because there's people listening into this like that haven't done the program. And there will be people listening into this that are doing the program at the moment. But what advice would you share? Because we're helping kind of everyone here. Obviously, a big portion of these people are not on the program, so they don't have access to, all of the stuff that we're talking about. What would you say to someone like, what's your advice about, because of course, like from my side of it, when you can prepare your food, you know what's in it. So we know that it's high protein, we know the ingredients we're using, we can control, like when we're eating out, the reason it can be problematic when we're trying to change our body composition or even our health is that we actually don't know what's going into the food. So if you're at a restaurant or you're eating out, you don't exactly know what food is in there. Whereas when you're preparing it yourself, of course, like you said, we know the calories, we know the protein, we know the ingredients, we can actually change them to suit our family, our own like health needs. So what advice would you give someone that is listening and they're like, I know I need to make changes here. I hear myself in the old Nancy, I want to be the new Nancy. What would you say to them?
So I would say give it a try. Like your life is not over if you don't go to restaurants all the time. You can still be social. And, I still eat out a lot, but I'm also based on Chanel's recipes and getting used to them. Like I'm also more aware when I go out to a restaurant, what kind of meal I want. I'm always so conscious now if I go out that I need to like double up on my protein. Like I really need to make sure. I would go out and have a salad for dinner. And now like I always make sure I put protein on it. I will tell you that I am a huge sweet eater. And because Chanel got me to eat enough protein on this program, there's many nights that I don't even need a little square of chocolate. Like one square of chocolate is fine. I'm not saying that you
Yes.
should give up your sweets.
Yes.
It's Chanel, the good thing about Chanel's program is she wants you to live your life. Like there's nothing that you should be giving up necessarily. You just need to be more aware and on top of what you're doing. And when you eat enough protein, you're full. Like you're not looking for what's in the snack closet to fill me up. You're full.
Yeah.
And you can also, if you want a sweet treat, like I had told Chanel, I made protein brownies with my son because we didn't have a brownie mix. Would we have made brownies if we had it? Of course. But we didn't. And we had delicious protein brownies that were healthy. So
Yeah.
much better for us. And they contain protein.
Yeah.
So don't don't get overwhelmed. Like you have to do things in little steps. And if you make one recipe a week, and that if you make a breakfast and that carries you through 2 or 3 days, or you make or you make a dinner and it carries you through 2 or 3 days, just take baby steps. Don't get overwhelmed by the whole process. You don't have to do everything at once, but just stack your habits and eventually you'll get them all in line.
Yes, that's great advice. And I will kind of like add on to that I do send recipes out to my email list every week. So if you are not already on my email list, that's probably a good place to be. So you can get a recipe at least from me every week and you can try it out and see, that's a good place to test. I probably will add to a few tips, like one of them being if you're time poor through the week, don't go and try and make some elaborate dish that's going to take you a lot of time and you don't have really the time to do it because you're going to get stressed and then mistakes will happen and that's when the family can be judgmental and that's not good for anyone.
Well, that's the other thing too. You put how long it's going to take in your
Yes.
recipes. So like if something's going to take too long, then I won't make it that night. If you put in something that's going to take 15 minutes, I'm like, boom, that's it. I'm making it.
That's right. So set yourself up for success in that respect. If you're coming in wanting to, get experimental with your cooking, look at your week. Like I'm quite time poor through the week. So I make sure that's why I chop my veggies on the weekend and do things that will save me time through the week because I might still like to enjoy particular dishes through the week. I save myself time. But if it's something elaborate, I'll wait till the weekend where I've got more time. I'm not stressed. I can take my time with it and then make sure I cook it properly. Things like that can actually really help, like in the outcome of achieving. So, but yeah, thank you so much for joining us today,
Love,
Nancy.
love.
I know that there'll be so many women tuning in, listening to this who are like, can hear themselves in the old Nancy. So I know that this conversation will be really beneficial and helpful. And like both of us are encouraging you to just find some confidence, find some time, give it a crack and have a go. And once you actually do that and then you enjoy the food, because my true mission in
So
life
good.
is to teach women that you should be looking forward to eating your food. It should taste amazing and delicious. And so once you do make something and taste it and it's tastes great, you will be more motivated to do it again. So
For
get in
sure.
there, get your apron on and have a go. And like I said, join my email list and get the weekly recipes. And Nancy, thank you so much. You're amazing.
Sure, Chanel.
Keep on rocking it. And thanks for sharing today. Truly appreciate it.
Yeah, good luck, everybody. Do the program. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed.
Thanks, Nancy.
Okay.